My name is Pontius Pilate. I was once proctor of the Judean province. You call it a governor. I am still haunted decades later, having been removed from that province because I was not good with the Jewish leaders, as history records. I've been here in Rome, amazed to see what has happened to this group of Christians, how they've grown. And I think back to the events. I think back to facing this man who has become the leader of such a large movement, trying to understand how that can be. For when he was under my power, he was a dead man. They brought an innocent man to me, and it was required of me to have him crucified. My wife warned me in a dream that he was innocent, had nothing to do with this man, she said. And when I was pressed to have him crucified, I tried to get him released by whipping him and appeasing the crowd, but this didn't work, and they wanted his blood. They wanted him dead. And you know, we Romans do not cower typically to the lower provinces like I had to there. I knew I had to play my cards right, and that is the very reason why I got withdrawn from the area, because I did not please these Jewish authorities enough. I can remember realizing, talking to him, that he was innocent. Statements that he said to me I can never forget. It's been decades since I heard them, but they burned into my mind, and he asked me, "So you say I'm a king?" I didn't think he was a king. But then, when he went on to say, "Those who love the truth will know that what I say is true," I laughed inside. What is truth? What is truth? But in this man, I saw something that wasn't a fraud, as the Jews alleged. I've come to know a man named Josephus. Oddly, there was a rebellion started in my governor's palace area in Caesarea. And by the way, nowadays they know that I really was governor there because they found a big cornerstone with my name, Pontius Pilate, on it. And there this revolution started, and a man named Josephus was one of the generals of the Jews rebelling, and he was captured, and he basically won favor with Caesar. I was appointed historian, and there's no one that knew the Jewish situation better than he. I'd like to have some of his writings read to you from the Antiquities. Scribe, would you read from Josephus for me?
Now there arose at this time a source of further trouble in one Jesus, a wise man who performed surprising works, a teacher of men who gladly welcomed strange things. He led away many Jews, and also many of the Gentiles. He was so-called Christ. When Pilate, acting on information supplied by the chief man around us, condemned him to the cross, those who had attached themselves to him at first did not cease to cause trouble. And the tribe of Christians, which has taken this name from him, is not extinct even today.
Indeed, no one knew the people of Judea better than Josephus. This Jesus. I can still remember holding basin and handing it to my servant who held it for me and holding the water up in the air and letting it fall and washing my hands in it, saying that I've washed my hands of this. Even as Josephus reported his crucifixion, his death under my command. Why? Because I thought he was innocent. But the real question comes when, soon after his death, which did surprise me because he seemed so special and different that he would die as quickly as he did. And I suppose given the beatings that he went through, it's not that surprising. But soon after his death, there was a man who came to me, Joseph of Arimathea, I believe. And there was another man that was with the Sanhedrin as well, Nicodemus, that helped him. He was there as well. And they asked for his body. And like I said, I was surprised that he had already died. And so I gave him permission to have who I put up in big letters above him, King of the Jews, to them to bury. They took him. But the most surprising thing was that 3 days later, just 3 days, that a guard that I had given to the high priest and along with his guards were to make secure the grave. And then in those 3 days I got a message back that the disciples of Jesus had stolen his body. Because again, as he had prophesied, he would be risen from the dead, and so they wanted to get his body back to create this illusion. And the Jews stepped in on behalf of these guards, and good that they did, because the standard punishment for any guard that fails in any duty regarding a prisoner, dead or alive, would mean that they would suffer the sentence of that prisoner. In other words, they'd be crucified. And so, with great boldness, they told me that they had failed in their job. But immediately, the high priest intervened on their behalf. And again, because I had to keep good relations with these high priests that ruled this land, I gave in and I said, well, okay, we'll let these guards go. And again, that rumor spread that his disciples had taken him. But I didn't know what had happened to him. It did cause me to ponder. Because I knew these men were jealous of Jesus. I knew that they were doing anything to smear his reputation. Matter of fact, in their writings, they came to say that all of his wonders that Josephus reported were just acts of magic and tricks, because he was a deceiver of the people. But still, I met this man. He was no deceiver. He had so much courage to face death. He didn't act like a deceiver or a liar. And more than that, the way his followers spread. Now, there's another historian beside Josephus that is probably the most distinguished historian, Tacitus, of the Roman Empire. During the two most beloved Caesars, Tiberius and Augustus, he wrote. And his annals, which I would like to have a couple passages read, are some of the most respected pieces of history during that time. And again, it shows that for some reason these people must have believed that he was alive, because they would suffer so much. And it spread so fast. And a matter of fact, there are those among our military that have become Christians. And there's even people in the palace of Caesar that we've known to be Christians. So I'd like to have a couple passages written by the scribe. Would you read of Tacitus's writings in it? Yes.
Consequently, to get rid of the report, Nero fastened the guilt and inflicted the most exquisite tortures on a class hated for their abominations, called Christians by the populace. Christus, from whom the name had its origin, suffered the extreme penalty during the reign of Tiberius at the hands of one of our procurators, Pontius Pilate. And a most mischievous superstition, thus checked for the moment, again broke out not only in Judea, the first source of the evil, but even in Rome, where all things hideous and shameful from every part of the world find the center and become popular.
Indeed. And again, he is one of the most respected historians of the time. And he reports of these people, these Christians, that like an infection will not go away, despite the cure of killing and imprisoning and persecution of every kind. It's something I never quite could understand. Even with Jesus, what was he getting out of what he was doing? He got torture, he got death, his followers got the same. What is the motivation? I was a governor, a procurator. And that was the highest office you could attain as an equestrian like I am. Only the patricians could become generals of legions and senators. I did all I could to make it as far as I could, given my birth. What was it that was motivating these people? I got all kinds of wealth and prestige and advantages because of what I pursued, but what could it be? It haunts me because the answer seems to jump out at me. They must really believe this guy came back to life. This Jesus that I met so briefly. And so the question remains, what is truth? How do you answer the question about this man Jesus, who history reports really did live and do wonders and works, even beyond their sacred writings? Why would this be reported if it was something that was untrue? What do you do with this? Well, the question's before you now. What will you do with Jesus? Is he alive? Or is he dead? Time will tell what you do with that. As for me, no one knows. And now, allow that God, that centurion said he was, when he was dying, he said, "Sir, he had to be a God. I saw what he went through. I saw what happened. I saw the darkness. I saw the earthquake." Well, is he dead? Is this God dead? Is this king dead? It's your choice. You decide the truth.